our brand's called In the Lab, so we're mad scientists. So we always take risks and we're never afraid of what the outcome will be. Obviously, hopefully we have more successes than failures, but that's a part of the process, right? And this actually ended up being one of those ones where the risk, paid off.
That's Navin COO of the basketball training membership In the Lab. We sat down to talk everything membership business, from deciding to launch to Navin's advice on when to bring in a business partner. Whether you're just thinking about starting a membership or you're an experienced creator entrepreneur, I think this is a conversation you won't want to miss. Thank you so much for joining me today. Can we start by introducing yourself and In the Lab?
Yeah, so thanks again for having me. My name is Navin. In the Lab is a global basketball brand. So we've been around for about 6 years now. And if you know anything about basketball or heard of a brand called And One back in the day, we were essentially trying to build a bigger, newer version of what And One could have been for us growing up.
That's awesome. And so when did the membership portion of the business start?
Yeah, so the actual date I think now is 4 years ago. So definitely wasn't something we always had. It's something I like really fought for us to try to have. We started a little while ago, with a different company and app because we were new to the space. We didn't really know. I don't think at that time anyone really knew what was happening. OTT was still kind of fresh in my opinion, especially for creators. This wasn't a thing that creators were doing because YouTube was so powerful, right? But we saw the opportunity to kind of start it 4 years ago, and it was originally called the Academy. And we had a lot of success. We didn't know what to expect, but we had a lower price point, and people were signing up like crazy. And that really allowed us to kind of get where we are today with you guys and Uscreen, and actually building a consistent base of customers, but also knowing how to make content they want to watch.
I love that. And you said you were pushing for a membership. What about a membership product was it that you said this is a good idea for our business?
Yeah, so I'll give you the exact thing that made me want to do this. There's a famous creator called King Batch. You may be familiar with him. He started something called Zeus, which was his own platform, and it was a streaming platform. And he took all of the biggest creators around that he knew, from comedy to sports to lifestyle, and they all came together on this app. And they charged like $3.99. It was a crazy price, and they had like so many people sign up. And I was kind of inspired by him at the time because he was a creator. We were following him. And I was like, oh, he's kind of the first person I've seen go away from YouTube to create a brand new app. Because obviously, that's hard. It's building a new business, basically. And he had so much success with it. So from there, I was like, okay, I knew this is going to be something we can do because in the basketball world at that time, it was a new concept. So now there's other basketball apps, but at that time, I was like, oh, we could be the first to do this. So something I always say me and Dev are good at is, our brand's called In the Lab. So we're mad scientists. So we always take risks and we're never afraid of what the outcome will be. Obviously, hopefully we have more successes than failures, but that's a part of the process, right? And this actually ended up being one of those ones where the risk, paid off.
When you were looking for
Sure.
a membership platform, what was on your must-haves list? Like, what did you need when you launched?
Yeah, so I'm assuming I can say this. So we originally with Vimeo. At the time that we started, again, my first app, I looked at other options. I can't remember what the names were, but I just knew like, oh, Vimeo is a big name. Let's start with them. And obviously they're all good. The reason I'm saying this is I'm going to tell you like why we moved from them is there was a bunch of functionality features that they didn't have. And I remember being so mad the day I found Uscreen because you guys had so many of the basic features that I wanted. And I was like, why don't you guys already have this? You're like, in my mind, like they were just so much bigger. But again, that was a new feature for them. And you guys are straight OTT. So that's all you guys do. And that's what intrigued me the most about you guys is like, that's all you do is you just want to be the best at this. And I was like, well, that's where we need our support from is someone who's only doing this. So first thing was the price. You guys have, in my opinion, like a crazy price. Like it's super affordable. I don't know what tier we're on. I know there's probably even a lower tier, but the price was huge. As a creator, like you don't want to be burning cash on something you don't know that's going to be successful as of yet. And then you had so many features. Like you had the community tab, which was like basically us being able to update fans in the app itself through messages, and it's like a posting board. We never had that before. Then you had other functionality that just seemed basic, but like your backend was so clean. Like it sounds so simple, but it was like a simple to use backend. It was easy to organize, to create our playlist. We're able to have different prices, which wasn't allowed in previous apps that we had. That was huge for us. The ability for, hopefully I'm not saying too much, but anyway, the ability for, the mobile app to be fully functional on iPhone and Android, like within a short amount of time was huge for us. Like your guys' turnaround was excellent. You guys are always updating. We had issues in the past where apps would get broken with updates, or there were just so many issues. And something I think I really love the most is the support. So if I have an issue or a customer emails us, I forward it to your guys' support email. And I swear to God, you guys answer like in like 20 minutes, like every time. And like that's helpful for me because I copy and paste the response, back to the consumer. But we've never had that before. Normally it's like the iPhone app is broken and we're like, okay, where do we start? Because we didn't build the app, so we don't know how to solve it. So I can go on and on, but I think those are some of the main features. And I also love that in the back end, you guys had a submission dashboard or box where we could put ideas. Hey, we want this and we want that. And you guys were listening and implementing a lot of ideas at that time, which I thought were very cool.
How many platforms do y'all distribute in the lab content on? And are there any of those that are more of a priority than others?
It's so hard to answer this question because every day the algorithm changes and then the platforms change and then the platforms introduce something new. And Twitter is a prime example when Elon took over because it's still in shambles. But we distribute obviously on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and then we're also really big in China. So we use Douyin, Weibo, Youku. Like we're big over there, and we're always exploring like other options for like other global platforms. But our biggest and most important, obviously, like generally, it's like Instagram and Twitter, and then YouTube is long form. So we use everything as a discovery tool. That's always been like my strategy is like just get as many fans as you can to see your content across the platforms. And once you reel them in enough and they're excited or they like Devin or they like the content, they're going to watch the long form on YouTube, right? And then hopefully you can use YouTube as a long form, be like, oh, this you like this training video, you like this open run. Did you know we have this training platform? And you can watch even more exclusive content there, and it's a 7-day free trial. So actually adding Uscreen as and the Lab Plus as an app has added like another layer for us, like figuring out what the best way is to funnel people, back to the paid, because obviously the paid is at the end of the day like one of the most important things to have.
Absolutely. I love that. So Twitter and Instagram short form are the top of your funnel. And then you're kind of developing that community within Instagram before sending them to the paid products. And you mentioned that you and Dev are business partners. So if you were talking to a solo membership entrepreneur who wanted to bring in a business partner, what advice would you give them?
There's so many things I could say. So I also work with a lot of creators on the side or manage them or help them with their business. So I think I get to see this a little bit more than others, but you need to make sure that the person you're working with is someone you can like relate to. It's someone that you can rely on. It's someone that you can trust. I think like those are the most important things. And it needs to be someone that understands the niche, the space, the creator economy. Like, they need to understand the world you're in. Like you shouldn't take on someone that's trying to learn that world or that you have to teach that world to, in my opinion, because that's going to set you back in time and creating processes. This person should come in loving the creator economy, and wanting to build an app and wanted to, know how to kind of grow a brand or grow a single individual. Because the other thing too is like with creators, sometimes it can be tough to grow a single individual person because everything relies on that person. So if they get tired or they experience creator burnout or mental fatigue or anything, like the business can go under, or the business can be in shock. And I think that's something to be aware of too, is like that person that you work with should be, you don't have to be best friends, but they should be like your best friend. They should continually uplift you. They should push you. They should know when you're having a down day and how to switch off. All right, instead of shooting this video today, let's just like take a break and let's just come back to this tomorrow. And they should just know like what makes you work and click, because again, everything relies on that person, which is the toughest part of being a creator.
That absolutely makes sense. You want someone you can rely on as your business partner. Now I've got another question for you. If you had to go back and speak to yourself before you launched the very first iteration of the app, what would you tell yourself
This is a good question. I don't, I think there could be a couple things I would say. I think the first thing I would say is like vet out all platforms, vet out all opportunities in the world possible first. Because I do feel like when we first started, it was more so like I did look, but also like I saw a big name that I recognized, and I just assumed that they were gonna have the best end all be all app for us. Um, and that was like probably the biggest mistake that I had made, um, because I didn't vet out things properly. So I would say just vet out all your options first. You need to make a pros and cons list, whatever the case is, or talk to someone about it. Like do that. Especially I think now because there's probably 10x the amount of apps, that can do this type of thing are out in the world now. I would only imagine. So you just want to talk to people, or even like had I known also, I would have tried to see if I knew someone that was on Vimeo, or like, hey guys, can you connect me to one of your more successful creators on the platform? I want to talk to them one to one before I sign up. And I think that in itself would have made me understand the platform better or realize if that was the right or wrong choice to make.
Gotcha. That's great advice. Vet out all of the options. And Nevin, where can people find you online?
You can find me. My last name is wild, but you can find me at Navin Ramarak. Maybe my name will show up there. If you type in Navin, I might be one of the first people to pop up if the algorithm likes me. So yeah, definitely appreciate if you want to like ever hit me up or see what we're doing. And obviously, all of our socials are at In the Lab.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today and sharing your wisdom and experience within the lab. I really appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.